आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the show tonight, why India is sending a message to Trump by signing the free trade agreement with the United Kingdom. Anil Ambani in big trouble, always seeking to be high profile, now being called someone who heads fraudulent operations. At 9 p.m. tonight, why it's impossible to believe that in India the convicts of the Mumbai train blasts are going to be openly celebrating on the streets and there'll be no justice for the victims of terrorism. And at 9:30 p.m. tonight, why Republic is totally against any form of cricket with Pakistan and why the government of India should stop the cricket board from allowing it. And ladies and gentlemen, at the start, it's great news. We have a free trade agreement. We always knew there was one, but now it's been signed by the United Kingdom and India. And I'll tell you 6 reasons why this UK FTA, which the Prime Minister signed today, I think this was at Chequers, the official informal country home residence of the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Now, this is great. It gives us a huge trade boost. UK-India trade should catch up to over 120 billion US dollars by 2030. 99% of all Indian goods will get zero tariff. So you want to have namkeen, you want to have steel, Indian namkeen, Indian products of all types, you can get it on zero tariffs in the British supermarkets. We're going to flood United Kingdom. This is reverse colonization. I love it. And major duties are going to be removed. This is going to help textiles, leather, marine products, electric vehicles, garments, everything. And this includes a social security pact that exempts Indian professionals from contributions for up to 3 years and gives duty-free access to 95% of farm products. So you can get Indian haldi, Indian prawns, Indian pepper, Indian agri products. And this is going to double the gems and jewelry business. So, United Kingdom, thank you and watch out. We're going to flood you. Now, the other important part about today's agreement is this. That we have made it very clear to Donald Trump indirectly that don't push us, we know how to do business. Indians have always been great at trade. And now we have got trade deals with so many countries. Do you know that? So many countries across the world. We have great bilateral trade agreements with Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Thailand, Singapore, name it, Malaysia, Korea, Japan, Australia, UAE, Mauritius, ASEAN, that's 10-nation bloc, European nations bloc, EFTA, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland. So this is going great, and I think a big shout out for Piyush Goyal, the very dynamic Commerce Minister of India, who's done a great job signing deal after deal after deal after deal after deal. He's done a great job. And so remember, viewers, that these deals are also relationship building exercises. You see Ajit Doval, National Security Advisor, at the Chequers. You see the Foreign Minister, Mr. Jaishankar there. So these are all very detailed arrangements that go beyond trade. We have negotiations underway with China, European Union, Peru, and of course with Israel. We're multiple partners across the world. And the message to Donald Trump is that we do business on our own terms. For Britain, it took 4 British prime ministers, 15 rounds of talks, UK's Brexit, global pandemic, 2 general elections in India to finally settle the deal. So the British have been very, very keen to close the deal. But when has the deal been closed? When we are ready for it to be closed. So the FTA with the United Kingdom also sends another message to Trump that India will cooperate, but India won't capitulate. You want to trade with India, make it fair, make it mutual. We do not do one-sided deals. And the message to the United States of America is that there is no junior partner, senior partner business going on. You see, every deal like this that we sign, America's leverage on India goes down because America needs to learn. America needs to understand that to do business with India, don't try and force our hand. You can't bully India. You have to deal with India. You want to deal with India, you want to do trade with India, then you first want to come to the table with respect, a sense of respect, not an attitude any longer of arm twisting. And that's why I believe we really must respect the efforts of Narendra Modi and the government of India in the way that they have done business across the world. And one of the reasons why Narendra Modi is traveling around the world, he went to South America, he spent a lot of time in Africa, is he's building the base of a developed nation. In terms of trade, India's access to minerals, India's access to technology, and India's access to markets. It's all connected. So big congratulations to the Honorable Prime Minister of India. This is excellent, excellent deal. And remember, after this, the Prime Minister is also going to the Maldives, where he's going to be a state guest. Maldives was tilting towards China. The Modi government has got it back. So these are big agreements. And all of this goes on to build India's clout globally. We've done a great thing. Ladies and gentlemen, a short report of what happened at the Checkers, and then we debate.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi met UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer for the 3rd time this year. This time in the United Kingdom to sign the free trade agreement finalized after over 3 years of intense negotiations.
यूके और भारत हम एक प्रकार से नेचुरल पार्टनर हैं। आज हमारे संबंधों का एक ऐतिहासिक दिन है। आज हम दोनों देश मिलकर के पारस्परिक लाभकारी एफटीए और डबल कंट्रीब्यूशन कन्वेंशन इसको संपन्न करने जा रहे हैं। ये अपने आप में भारत और यूके भावी पीढ़ी के लिए एक बहुत मजबूत रास्ता तैयार कर रहा है।
Look, and we both know this is the biggest and most economically significant trade deal that the UK has made since leaving the EU. And I think I can say that it's one of the most comprehensive deals that India has ever done. So thank you, Prime Minister, for your leadership and for your pragmatism.
UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer hailed the deal as a big boost to the middle-class people of both nations.
It is a deal that will bring huge benefits to both of our countries, boosting wages, raising living standards, and putting more money in the pockets of working people.
Not just that, Prime Minister Modi also raised pertinent issues of extradition of fugitive economic offenders.
इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंडर्स के प्रत्यार्पण के विषय पर भी हमारी एजेंसी सहयोग और समन्वय से काम करती रहेगी।
However, this did not stop the opposition from taking a dig at the Prime Minister. The Congress has mocked the deal, saying that Indians needed an FTA that stood for a fugitive transfer agreement, further questioning the return of economic offenders like Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Lalit Modi.
We have to understand one point, that all these economies about which we are talking, whether it is USA or UK, under huge debt. For example, 32 lakh crores of rupees is the debt formally announced by the US administration. Such a huge debt. Almost same is the case of UK. So these governments are trying to promote their economy through bilateral agreements and the general trade agreements, etc., etc. So we should not be part of that. And Parliament was not informed properly also. The Parliament is in session.
The big question remains. Are there any compulsions that Congress can't celebrate India's triumphs? Or is perennially mocking India's achievements part of its strategy?
The best part about this agreement is that it opens the British market to India. I think that's the best part about it, Saurabh. Maybe we should have a Republic UK also. Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we broadcast to the UK. Why not? Yeah. Let's free them of the BBC. Yeah.
Education connection, and I know that we in some ways have contributed to the India-UK partnership, but I'm so glad it's a strategic deal.
Yes.
And I think India has shown the world that it does deals on its own terms. It's a deal which has been concluded after 3 long years to make sure India's national interest is not compromised at all. And it sends a big message. I say that this is a message from London to the world, that India is a global power and it does deals at its own terms. And the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has sent out a clear message to others, and it will be an impetus for other deals, including the deal that is in the final stages with the US. Arnab, I can tell you, this deal will be a major push there as well, because I know that the negotiators are getting restless because UK has edged some of the others out.
Yep, absolutely. Akhil, Swami. Say something.
One, when Mr. Modi took over as Prime Minister of India, the rupee to dollar was around 62 rupees. Today it is 86.50. That means the falling of rupee in last 11 has been the steepest, number one. So your exports are not going up, your imports are going down. Your imports are going up. Number two, your imports in China has doubled in last 11 years and your exports have only gone up by 15%. That is number two. Number three, I was under the impression and most of the countrymen were under the impression that America is our great friend. Mr. Donald Trump is our great friend. And the Bhaks and the BJP supporters even went for the Havans for making Mr. Donald Trump as president. In your opening remark, now I understand that you are fighting against America. But you are making friendship with China. You are increasing imports and you are trying to have FTA with China.
Shazia, I'll just respond to him 1 minute and then hand it over to you. Louder, please. Akhil.
America has a contribution of 30% in the world's economy. Akhil. And you are fighting with America. You are making friends with China.
Yeah. Okay, Akhil, I'll keep it serious today with you. See, trade is not about making friends. Trade is about trade. Okay? Trade is about access to the market. Right? Now, if you presently are paying between 4 to 20%, right, in terms of access duty, right, into any market, anything, textiles, leather, footwear, toys, marine products, gems, jewelry, engineering goods, dairy products, electric vehicles, now that becomes zero. What this means, Akhil, I'm explaining this slowly so you understand. What this means is that everybody, including Indian farmers, will get access. So if you want to sell mango pulp, if you're in Maharashtra, you are making mango pulp. If you are a fisherman producing or catching tuna or shrimp, or if you are exporting haldi, which is very popular, you can get zero access. Okay? This means we get access to a market. Isko aap zara don't get light on issues that are this serious. Okay. Thank you. Now let me get Shazia. Let me get Shazia in on this. नहीं और दूसरी बात जो आपने कही कि रुपये की क्या वैल्यू थी, मैं आपको बताता हूँ, मैं आपको बता देता हूँ. मेरी बात सुनिए, 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 मेरी बात मैं आपको बताता हूँ, मैं आपको बताता हूँ. ये जो देखिए आप प्रॉब्लम ये है ना,
86 रुपए 50 पैसे.
मैं जब एक मिनट, मैं जब कॉलेज करने गया, कॉलेज पढ़ने गया था,
एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ेगा,
मैं जब कॉलेज में था,
एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ेगा तो रुपये वीक होगा. रुपये 30% वीक क्यों हो गया ये बताइए.
I'll tell you what. मैं ट्रेड पे, अगर मैं ये कहूँ कि रुपी पाउंड रुपी, मैं जब 1995 में है ना कॉलेज के लिए पढ़ाई करने गया था ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी में, तब 11.5 रुपए की एक पाउंड होती थी. अब क्या मैं आपको बोलूं कि आपने 2014 तक कितने पाउंड का कितना रुपया हुआ था?
अरे 11
लॉजिक ही नहीं है आपके बात में, कुछ भी बोलते हैं आप.
अरे
क्या बात कर
बोलते हैं आपको.
Okay, anyway, let me get Shazia's response. Shazia, he says that okay, you heard what he said.
Sir, with all, I don't mean to sound, rude to you.
Yes.
But you're way off.
Yeah, way
because
off.
Look at this deal for what it is, FTA, and what this means. If you look at our MSMEs, if you look at our professionals, it's all about make in India going global. And I think it's great news. It's big news. And I think Modi ji has, secured India's seat at the top table of global trade. Now you just look at the situation. Let's go one thing at a time. Textiles. Now look at Indian textile exports. We've always worried about the Bangladeshi and Vietnamese competitors, right? We've always been saying that for the last so many years, 20 years. Now, right now, the tariff is 10 to 12%. Imagine if it's reduced to 0%, and how much more valuable, cheaper, desirable Indian goods and Indian products will be in eyes of the UK buyers. And it's a very wealthy market we're looking at. So there was just a calculation, Tirupur-based knitwear exporters, already there's a calculation. They'll actually, because of the duty waivers, they'll actually save every unit up till 2 crores annually. So this is individually, look at individual units. Now, gems and jewelry. Just think of how it benefits India. Let's look at purely from the point of view of Indian market, Indian exporters, Indian businessmen, Indian students, Indian professionals. Okay.
Right.
Now, exports to UK were worth $1.3 billion in 2023. FTA removes a 5 to 8% import duty. And now you just look at the orders that our gem, and jewelry exporters will have. The anticipation is of 15 to 20% jump in UK orders from India. And that indeed is great news. This is going to have a great effect. Now, let's go one thing at a time again. Now look at pharma. Again, UK is a major market for Indian generics and APIs, and our own industry, so many, Dr. Reddy's, Aurobindo, they'll benefit. Now we just look at exports of something like basmati, bango, steel, Arnab just mentioned, shrimp and prawn and what have you. To the UK, there's a tariff of 10 to 12%.
What are you importing from UK?
10 to 12%.
What
no,
are you
listen to this.
importing
I'm
from
just
UK?
You don't, by the way, you don't export from UK. You export to UK. आप कहाँ पे पढ़ाते हैं भाई साहब?
अरे import कहाँ से करते हैं UK से? क्या-क्या चीज़ import करते हैं?
So imagine India exports 3,200 crore rupees worth of basmati rice. Post FTA, can you imagine Punjab and Haryana rice exporters? The growth.
Louder on the other side. What happened to the lady?
You are opening your markets to
10 to 20% tariff to zero tariff.
Next debate.
So that is very big, sir. That is very big.
Next
So
debate.
again,
Line
look at
up.
the services.
चाइना के लिए खोल दिया, यूके के लिए खोल दिया, पूरे विश्व के लिए अपना मार्केट खोले चले जा रहा है. हमारे यहाँ के प्रोड्यूसर मर जाएंगे.
अरे वो मार्केट हमारे लिए खुल गया, उल्टा बोल रहे हैं आप.
अरे तो फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट आपने नहीं खोला उनके लिए,
और बहुत ही कम
आपने नहीं खोला उनके लिए,
जीरो के बराबर है ज्यादातर.
अरे तो आपने उनके लिए मार्केट खोला या नहीं खोला?
ज्यादा बिकेंगी, हमारे बिजनेसमैन का फायदा होगा, हमारे एक्सपोर्टर्स का. मैंने तो बेसिक इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ी है कॉलेज तक.
200 साल हमारे देश को लूटा.
Shots, yeah. Today, signing shots and all that. Bosses.
अरे
200
साल यूके ने लूटा है हमें.
Don't pause this.
लूटने के फिर तैयार हो रहे हैं. और
no, this You know, this Zabardasti Congress point of view of obstructionist.
अरे अंग्रेजों ने 200 साल लूटा है,
politics
ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को आने दे रहे हैं.
This is good for India and Indian economy.
अरे
and
it is
Indian
not good for
businessmen
India.
and Indian professional
It
and
is
Indian
not good
services
for
sector.
India.
So it's good for
open
India,
कर रहे हैं अपने
sir.
market को
It
UK
might
के
not be
लिए
good for Congress because Congress wishes ill for India.
अरे
So
कांग्रेस
obviously
को छोड़िए भाई, हम लोग देशभक्त
deep
लोग हैं.
distress and
Forget
stress
about
at this point of
Congress.
time.
Top
But
of the
overall for
country.
Indian business
आप
is
यूके
great.
के लिए अपना मार्केट खोल रहे हैं, आप ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को अपने देश में ला रहे हैं.
भैया वो मार्केट भी हमारे लिए खुल रहा है भाई साहब.
अरे वो मार्केट खुल रहा है, हमारे देश के गरीब लोग मर जाएंगे.
प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए
हमारे, अरे वो लोग तो अंग्रेज लोग हैं, गोरे लोग हैं. हमारा देश बर्बाद हो जाएगा.
आप देखिए तो पढ़िए तो इसको आप.
यही तो अमेरिका चाह रहा है.
Have an
अमेरिका
informed
यही चाह रहा है,
discussion.
उनका माल वो ठोक देंगे यहाँ पे.
Please let's have an informed discussion on this, sir.
अरे
Can you realize
एप्पल वहाँ
what
का
this means?
अगर
And
सेब
you know,
आएगा
this is also
हिंदुस्तान
big.
के अंदर,
I think Saurabh said this before I did. You know, right now,
I want to just, I want to.
The US in August 1st.
No.
What is happening in the USA?
I'm amazed at the ignorance of my fellow panelists who's trying to paint this. You know, you don't realize this is a people-centric deal as well, sir. Please read the fine print. Before you come to a debate, please read the fine print. Indian young people get access to be in the US. In the UK, I beg your pardon. They get access to be in the United Kingdom. They get access to work there. This is a great deal for India's young professionals. What India has achieved, very few.
Let me get a more informed voice, and her name is. Let me get a more informed voice than. Let me get a more informed voice here, Akhilji, because Akhilji, you have not disclosed your. You have not disclosed your institution. So
This is about people. This is about young people.
Saurabh,
getting opportunities to be in
Saurabh, I think that
Saurabh,
Saurabh, let me get a more informed voice here. I must say that Akhil Swami is a very enthusiastic participant, but there are certain variables about him. We don't know where he has been educated. We don't know where he is teaching.
IIT BHU, engineering IIT BHU.
And where are you teaching presently, sir?
यार 73 साल की उम्र में अब मुझे अपने प्रोग्राम में बुलाओगे या टीचिंग करवाओगे?
73 साल के तो शशि थरूर भी हो गए, वो तो जॉब ढूंढ रहे हैं.
अरे उनकी तो 50 करोड़ की गर्लफ्रेंड है, मेरी बीबी है, मेरे पास कोई.
Anyway, my serious question here is, I want to get in Dr. Akriti Bhatia. She's a political economist, she's a postdoc fellow, and she's done her PhD from Delhi School of Economics. Okay, Dr. Bhatia, are you cynical in any way about this deal? Are there any riders about the deal that you would like to forewarn us about? I was told that you're slightly cynical about it. Is that true, and if so, why? Can you unmute yourself, Akriti?
I'm actually unmuted. Am I audible?
Yeah, perfect now. Yeah, go on.
Right. I'm saying that it's actually a very path-breaking thing that's happening after years, and international trade has been, with the UK, has been something that goes the pre-colonial times, and I mean, obviously, significantly during the colonial times. But now I think what we need to keep in mind is, on the top is national interest, right? So at this point, their economy is stagnating, and it's very timely for the Britain. What we gain with this kind of an FTA where tariffs will be revised and relaxed. But if you look at the nuance, if you go through the agreement, you will find that still public procurement, financial assets, and clauses on labor and climate, they are tilted towards the UK. Some of the things are non-enforceable, and if you again look at it with the kind of competition that will come in, it can harm Indian MSMEs that rely on procurement preferences. And if you look at, again, there are many other kind of issues also that must be resolved with the UK. So I'm not dismissive about the FTA, but there are many things that we need to ensure that we are at a level playing field. Look at the visa kind of aspects, which are still favoring.
Akriti, can you tell me, just to expand on that point, because the government narrative on this is, the government narrative here is that Indian MSMEs will seize the British market, with duty-free access. Is that not true?
No. So Indian market will get access to we get access to the British market. And if you look at what will happen in the domestic markets also, we will have certain more increased competition that will come in for the MSMEs. And some of the aspects which I'm saying are still tilted. We don't want, obviously, it's not a similar situation when Manchester goods were being dumped in India. It's much better that way. However, with the MSMEs, they will find it more difficult to compete with the kind of opening up that this will lead to. So those are some concerns which need to be actually...
But isn't that both ways, Akriti? Like if you want to dismantle the duty disadvantage, if you want to enhance bilateral support from the UK to India, you're also going to have to give a little, right? I mean, it doesn't work only one way, you right? Surely you don't expect an agreement where you block access, but you expect
access. That's true. So I'm not saying, but there are still certain kind of aspects which need to be protected. I'm not saying it's definitely beyond protectionism that I'm talking about, but
there
some of the more sensitive
but there are safeguards, Akriti. I think you should go and read the fine print. I have a slightly different take. I think there are safeguards built in this deal that protects India's interest as well. I would say the reason why it took 3 years for this deal to be negotiated is because India didn't want to give away India's national interest. That's the reason why it took much longer. And I can tell you the diplomatic backstory as well. It wasn't that the government frittered away any benefits. On the contrary, you will see that the Indian young people, professionals, they will be the gainers.
The financial,
that is something. It's a deal which is
who would be involved. There's more
based on some give
that you find that are tilted towards the UK. So there are a couple of things, and it's actually a very you need to go through the agreement and then vouch for and kind of navigate for certain amendments in that. So then it will be much better.
Shazia.
But there are other political issues like the increasing extremist ideologies and the visa kind of disadvantages that also need to be done.
Shazia.
Keeping in mind the national interest and our differences on the destination of terrorism.
Shazia, on a slightly different note, Shazia, on a slightly different note, I don't know if I have the pictures here.
3 years
Shazia.
of discussions.
I know, but Shazia, if you're giving them so much as well, I get very upset when I see pictures of Vijay Mallya and, Lalit Modi partying away their ill-gotten money in London's fancy restaurants. So I'm wondering why we couldn't get a commitment from them. If they want to, they can make it impossible and they can hand over Vijay Mallya. But have we given that up? Because have we given up on that?
This was part of the discussion and it is underway. We have made huge progress.
It's not underway. It's going on in the courts.
Yeah, it's going on in the courts. Exactly. And the courts have been also been very favorable to India's position and Indian stance, and it will happen. But I think for itself, what FTA means is huge. What it means for Indian business, for Indian exports, for Indian economy.
Okay.
And the kind of access we have, that's one. The other thing, we can't conflate everything and speak about it all at once. Yes, and of course, British cars will also be cheaper. They're talking about some whiskey and gin. I mean, how many people consume that as opposed to Indians?
Akhil.
So there's a big difference.
अरे विजय माल्या ललित मोदी को भगाया है तो लाएंगे कैसे?
Agriculture is concerned is kept under a sensitive list. It's been protected, so it's not free from complete protectionism.
लेकिन एक चीज मैं कह सकता हूँ as a professor of economics,
very seriously and sensitive.
आज आपको economists बुलाने चाहिए थे. आकृति को economists आती है. She is a good student of economics. As a professor of economics, I can vouch on that.
No, but where are you a professor from? Where are you presently a professor?
But who will vouch for you?
You declared yourself a professor. Can you name your university?
मैं 73 साल का हूँ. 7 साल पहले रिटायरमेंट ले लिया.
कहाँ से?
और उस यूनिवर्सिटी से लिया जो आपका स्पॉन्सरर है इस प्रोग्राम का. पिछली बार ही बताया था. इस प्रोग्राम का स्पॉन्सरर है.
अभी कहाँ पे आप पढ़ा रहे हैं।
अरे यार 73 साल की उम्र में प्रोग्राम में बुलाओगे या टीचिंग करवाओ?
अच्छा अच्छा, नहीं मैं नहीं कराऊंगा. आई एम हैप्पी यू आर नॉट टीचिंग नाउ बिकॉज यू गॉट ऑल द रॉन्ग फंडास. Okay, Akhil, Akriti, Saurabh and Shazia, give a little, take a little, give a little, take a little, but that doesn't work for Anil Ambani. Thank you very much.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला. सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप.